Hey guys, this week I am making lemon blueberry banana bread, and I found it on this website called togetherasfamily.com. And this recipe is very simple. It calls for butter. I actually don't have any butter on hand, so I just use margarine. Sugar, eggs, bananas. You'll need 4 to 5 bananas. I just used 4. Zest of lemon. I didn't have any fresh lemons in my house, so I am skipping that step. And 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, flour, baking powder, salt, blueberries. And the recipe says you should use 1.5 cups fresh blueberries. I did not have fresh blueberries, so I pulled out some frozen ones and I just thawed and washed them and then dried them. So I think they should be close enough to what they should be like. And this recipe also calls for a lemon glaze, which is 1 cup of powdered sugar, heavy cream, lemon juice. I'm not a big fan of glazes or frosting. I find as I get older in life, I just don't need that extra bit of sugar, and I like bread without glazes these days. And the instructions, very simple. Heat your oven up to 350. Prepare your pans. This recipe says that you should use some mini loaf pans. I actually do not have any mini loaf pans, so I'll just be using a cast iron pie pan. And when you switch from a mini loaf pan to something larger, you're gonna have to bake a little bit longer. I think I ended up baking mine for about 50 minutes. So go ahead and start with a lower time, and then just keep an eye on your bread, and check it every 10 minutes, and just use your toothpick to judge whether it is done or not. So if you put in your toothpick and it comes out clean, that's when you know you are done. So here are the ingredients that I am using. I've got my 2 eggs. I'm using margarine instead of butter. These are my blueberries, mashed bananas, got some flour and sugar, some lemon juice, and salt and baking powder. And let's start cooking. All right, so I've got the flour and the sugar already in the bowl, and you're just gonna stir it up until they're combined. And then add in the salt and baking powder. And again, just stirring them until they're combined. And then I've got my 2 eggs, and I made a little well with the dry ingredients. That's so I can mix up the wet and dry kind of slowly together. And here are the bananas. And lemon juice. And now I'm just gonna slowly start mixing. And I think creating a well actually makes it easier to combine, just so you don't have a whole bunch of dry ingredients that you're trying to mix up with a whole bunch of wet ingredients. I think it might get a little bit clumpy if you were to do it that way, but slowly putting them together, I think is creates a better consistency, and probably just easier just to stir and mix everything well. And next I'm putting in the margarine. So you should let your butter or margarine soften so it's not too difficult to stir. You can use a couple of different methods. If you're really organized, you can take out your butter first thing in the morning and then make everything in the afternoon when it's soft. But if you're a little more impulsive, you can certainly just pop the butter in the microwave for about 10 seconds or so just to soften it up a little bit. And I love mixing things by hand. I kind of feel like it's a Zen-like kind of mixing. Um, I love just being able to get away from technology for a little bit. But you can easily use a food processor or a hand mixer. The only part that you are gonna want to definitely mix by hand is when you're starting to add in the blueberries. So when you're adding in the blueberries, you want to be just really gentle as you're mixing them together. As you can see, I'm very slowly mixing those. It almost looks like I'm going in slow motion. And that's because I don't want to break the blueberries. I want them to be whole fruit when I put them in the oven. I think that just makes it for a more interesting bread if you've got some whole blueberries in there. And here is the dough when it's all in the pan. Like I said, I'm using a cast iron pan, but I think you can use just about any kind of pan. The only question mark is going to be how long does it take to bake. So definitely use your best judgment based on the time it'll take. For mine, I think it took about 50 minutes before the toothpick actually came out clean. And I just love the color of this bread. It is just golden brown, and it is such an interesting mix of ingredients. The banana and lemon and blueberry just made a really interesting combination. And thank you everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I hope you have a great week.